Welcome to the Deconstructionist Deep Dive, the podcast that doesn't just accept the story.
We break it
We examine the pieces.
and expose the machinery inside.
Let's dive in.
What if the promise of ultimate freedom was just a blueprint for a more luxurious cage? Okay, so today we're taking a really sharp look, it's scalpel almost, at a specific financial guru's 5 steps to becoming a millionaire.
Right.
It's pretty popular stuff.
Right.
But, when you dig into the source material, it becomes clear this isn't just about, managing your money. It feels much more like our sources call it a psychological operation.
PSYOP, really. That's a strong term.
It is. But the argument is that it's this meticulously crafted narrative, and its real goal, to replace one kind of poverty financial with something, honestly, far more insidious. A kind of spiritual and intellectual dependence.
That's fascinating because on the surface, it looks like empowerment, doesn't it? Like he's giving you the keys.
Exactly.
But when you actually break it down, the pitch isn't really teaching effective wealth building, is it? It seems more like it's manufacturing dependency.
Yeah, that's the core of it. Dependency on the guru himself, on his specific system, and crucially, on the constant anxiety he repackages as motivation.
So you, the listener, you basically become the battery. You're powering his fear-based grid.
Precisely. Let's dig into that. Take the math he uses. It's almost weaponized,
Okay.
his big claim. $1 million at 27, spending $4K a month, boom, you're broke by 52.
Right, I've heard that one. It sounds terrifying.
It does.
Yeah.
But it's completely stripped of reality, isn't it? It ignores, basic things like investment returns or career progression or just any other income you might have later.
Yeah, it's a scenario that's so absurd it really only works if someone's already in a complete panic.
Exactly. And then he throws in names like Peter Thiel. Not for actual advice, but as an appeal to authority. Like, only billionaires hold the real truth here.
Setting up this idea that, unless you're aiming for that level, you're basically failing.
And then, once that alarm bell is ringing, he hits you with the moving target. Actually, 10 million is the real number.
Right.
Why do you think that tactic is so effective? Why does it land with people?
Well, it's a classic moving goalpost, isn't it? It's cleverly designed to guarantee you never feel secure.
So no matter what you actually achieve, it's never enough.
Never. You're perpetually striving, always feeling inadequate, and always needing his next step, his next program. You're trapped in his system.
Perpetually.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the emotional manipulation, which is, it's quite masterful in a chilling way. He invokes every primal fear you can think of, right? Lawsuits, sick children, cancer, car accidents, losing your job.
He paints this world of just constant looming catastrophe.
Yeah. And the only salvation, the only thing that can possibly save you is this massive pile of cash he tells you to build. It's like a constant hum of terror underneath everything.
And he layers that with this calculated intimacy, using words like, okay, guys, dude.
Right, creating this false closeness. Exactly. Positioning himself as the tough love dad telling you the hard truth that maybe your own weak-willed father didn't. It's aggressive psychological paternalism.
And the repetition. Words like broke, worried, deadbeat.
Constantly. It's not just talk. It feels like linguistic programming. Like he's trying to embed those anxieties right into your subconscious.
Okay, so if we're looking at this as a kind of engineered narrative, a strategic campaign, the big question is, cui bono? Who really benefits?
Right. Follow the incentives. And our sources point to a few key beneficiaries, maybe some surprising ones.
Obviously, the guru himself is number one.
Absolutely. Your fear, your striving, your course fees, you are directly contributing to his 10 million. Your anxiety is literally an asset in his business model.
It's not a problem he solves, it's a resource he cultivates.
Precisely. But then number 2, and this is interesting, the state.
The state. But doesn't he rail against the IRS? Calls them those bastards.
Oh, loudly. But look closer. It's performance. He pays them first because he absolutely has to. His entire empire relies on the legal and economic stability the state provides to protect his property rights.
So he tells you to distrust the system while his own success depends entirely on that system protecting his accumulated wealth.
It's textbook performance rebellion masking total compliance. He plays the game better than most.
Okay, that makes sense. And the third beneficiary?
The wider system. You could call it hypercapitalism.
How so?
Because he's essentially acting as a high priest for a system that needs an endless supply of anxious, striving people. People who delay consumption except for his products. Of course, people terrified about money.
So he's not dismantling the system?
Not at all. He's lubricating it. He's making it run more efficiently by convincing everyone the answer is always more accumulation, never questioning the fundamental game.
Wow, okay. That reveals a massive internal contradiction then, doesn't it?
Huge.
He's preaching freedom from worry, but the actual result of following his path seems to be installing a permanent, screaming alarm bell of worry in your head.
Exactly. His definition of freedom becomes this constant gnawing anxiety about storing, investing, protecting the hoard.
That doesn't sound like freedom. Our sources call it the life of a dragon sitting on a pile of gold, paranoid about thieves.
Which is a fantastic image. You become enslaved to your assets, not liberated by them, constantly guarding, constantly fearing loss. Who genuinely wants that life?
Right. And maybe true freedom looks completely different. Maybe it's about having enough for security, sure, but then focusing your time, your energy, your actual life on things like relationships, creativity, peace of mind.
Things he tends to dismiss as, weaknesses for the unprepared.
Exactly. The very things that make life rich.
And what's really striking when you look at the sources is how these core concepts, these control mechanisms, they aren't new. They echo things throughout history.
Right. They have historical parallels, and they also clash directly with some really profound philosophical ideas about what constitutes a good life or true security.
Let's take the first big one. Your value and security are solely a function of your monetary hoard.
Okay. That feels a bit like Calvinist predestination, doesn't it? Where worldly success was seen as a sign of God's favor, justifying a hierarchy.
Yeah, it creates that same kind of self-justifying loop. And it's powerfully rebuked by traditions like, say, Buddhism, with the concept of anatta, non-self, detachment, or Stoicism, which locates value entirely in virtue and inner character, not external things like wealth.
Exactly. And more recently, thinkers like Foucault showed how power structures define concepts like security in ways that compel participation. Your anxiety isn't a side effect, it's part of the design. It keeps you playing the game.
Okay, then concept number 2. The world is a catastrophic, hostile place where everyone is out to get you. Fear, basically.
Pure fear. It has echoes of Hobbes, right? The idea of a war of all against all, justifying absolute power, or in this case, justifying your need for an impenetrable financial fortress.
But that's challenged by so much evidence.
Yeah.
Think about Kropotkin's mutual aid or philosophies like Ubuntu. They demonstrate pretty clearly that human societies actually thrive on cooperation and community, not just ruthless individualism.
And Naomi Klein's shock doctrine really exposes this as a manipulative tactic, doesn't it? Using crises, real or manufactured, to push agendas that benefit elites. This guru seems to be using a manufactured sense of perpetual crisis.
It certainly looks that way. Okay, third concept. Defer all gratification until an ever-receding future financial target is hit.
Ah, the endless delay. This feels very much like medieval Christian asceticism, you know? Suffer now on earth for rewards in heaven. It kept people compliant.
Totally. Suffer now for the $10 million mark.
Right. And the counter-arguments are ancient and powerful. Philosophies like Epicureanism or just the simple wisdom of carpe diem, seize the day. They argue for mindful enjoyment of the present, simple pleasures, because the future isn't guaranteed.
And more recently, Mark Fisher's capitalist realism talks about this exact thing, how it becomes easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism, because the system demands we sacrifice our present lives for a future that, conveniently for the system, never quite arrives.
Always chasing, never arriving. It keeps the wheels turning.
Okay, let's get really precise now. Let's bring out the scalpel, as we said. Our sources identify a whole armory of specific deceptions, 10 key tactics used to keep you inside this luxurious cage.
And what's really important for you, listening, is to see how each one is engineered, how it works to limit your actual freedom, co-opt your autonomy, and basically redirect your life energy towards his goals, not necessarily yours. Let's pull back that curtain.
Okay, let's group them slightly. First, there's what we could call the engine of perpetual insufficiency and fear. This is about making sure you never ever feel good enough or safe enough.
Right. It starts with
Deception 1. The myth of the single-digit millionaire deadbeat. This is basically the divine right of kings, updated for the billionaire era. It forces you to invalidate your own achievements, maybe even becoming a millionaire, because the goalpost has been moved to 10 million or more.
So you willingly enslave yourself to a standard you likely had no part in setting.
Exactly. And that's amplified by deception, too. The world is a perpetual catastrophe machine. This is eternal damnation for the secular age. Either hoard unimaginable wealth or face ruin from sickness, lawsuits, accidents.
It creates this constant background radiation of anxiety. It destroys trust, destroys joy.
And it logically leads to deception 9. Defer life until the magic numbers hit. This is pure psychological torture. It's the Puritan work ethic minus God, replaced by a bank balance. You trade your actual life, your time, your present moments, the only things you truly own, for a hypothetical future safety net.
A future that might never come, or might not be worth it when you get there because you've sacrificed everything else. Okay, what's the next group of deceptions?
Let's call this the redefinition of freedom in relationships. This is where core human values get twisted.
Ah, twisting the meaning of words. Classic manipulation.
Absolutely. Deception 3. Freedom is the absence of financial worry. This is a huge logical fallacy. He redefines freedom as its opposite: constant, anxious management of wealth. It's like the old company store model. You work endlessly for a freedom defined and controlled by the store owner.
So you sacrifice real freedom to think, to rest, to connect in pursuit of his narrow financial definition of freedom. It's a mental prison.
And it gets worse. Deception 4. Your family and friends are investors in your target. This just feels ethically corrupt, doesn't it? It's like the prosperity gospel applied to personal relationships. Love, connection, support, they all become transactional, resources to be leveraged.
It poisons everything, and that leads directly to deception 10. Your spouse must fund the target.
Right. This reduces marriage or partnership to a financial agreement. It's like a modern dowry. It kills unconditional love and replaces it with a focus on the bottom line. Utterly instrumentalizes the most intimate bond.
Truly bleak. Okay, what else is in this armory?
Next up, the subsumption of self and thought. This is a direct assault on your individual mind.
Taking over your thinking.
Exactly. Deception 5. Cash is shit. Only his prescribed investments are valid. This isn't financial advice. It's controlling the narrative. By dismissing broad asset classes, he eliminates your intellectual autonomy and funnels your money towards things he understands, endorses, or maybe even benefits from.
Suppressing options, creating a false dilemma, like buying indulgences in the past. Only this path is valid.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Then Deception 6. Personal development means listening to his audio programs on loop. This is just guru worship disguised as self-improvement. It's intellectual sterilization. Like chanting a mantra, it replaces critical thinking with dogma.
You're not developing, you're being programmed.
You're becoming a clone. Which leads to Deception 7. You must sound like me until your true self is subsumed. This is pure psychological assimilation, like a re-education camp, but for sales bros. It demands you erase your own voice, your own thoughts, your identity, and just parrot his.
Losing yourself completely in the process. Horrifying. Is there a final category?
One more, and it's subtle but important. The illusion of rebellion.
Making you feel like you're fighting the system while actually serving it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Deception 8. The IRS is bastards. You must pay before you pay yourself. We touched on this. It's hypocrisy packaged as rebellion, creating an us versus them drama that distracts from the fact that he is masterfully playing the system's game, often better than you are. It makes compliance feel like defiance.
Wow. Okay, laying it all out like that. It's quite an arsenal of control.
It really is.
So, stepping back, what does this all mean for you, the person listening to this? The ultimate deception, it seems, is the core lie itself, that your worth, your security, your freedom are just commodities you can buy.
Right. And that you can only buy them by following this one specific, brutal, anxiety-drenched path laid out by this self-appointed guru.
It's the lie that the cure for worrying about money is to become utterly, pathologically obsessed with it, crowding out everything else that makes life meaningful.
The whole discourse is a cage. It never encourages you to ask, is this game even worth playing? Is this the life I want? It just assumes the goal, massive accumulation, is unquestionable.
Our sources argue it's a fundamentally barren worldview. Nihilistic, even anti-human, but cleverly disguised as practical, no-nonsense advice.
And they call for a kind of rebellious synthesis, recognizing this isn't just finance, it's a mental prison designed to extract your energy.
So the final instruction from this analysis isn't about investment strategy. It's this.
Reject the fear. See the catastrophe machine for the minute. It is a tool designed to keep you anxious, keep you striving, keep you buying in.
Burn the mental prison down. Use the logic, the critical thinking, maybe even the tools he inadvertently gave you to dismantle his kingdom of anxiety in your own mind.
Because your mind, your time, your relationships, those are the only truly valuable assets you have. Don't willingly hand them over to someone telling you they aren't enough unless they produce millions.
Define your own enough. Find real security maybe in community, in your skills, in your adaptability, not just in a number on a screen that keeps receding.
Because a life lived in constant fear of a hypothetical future disaster.
Yeah.
That's already a disaster happening right now, in the present. Choose presence, choose connection, choose actual freedom.
And that's our deep dive for this week.
Remember, the most dangerous illusion is the one you don't know you're in.
But now you know. So here's our question for you.
Where in your own life have you accepted a version of reality because it was easier than asking the hard questions? Let us know in the comments. Question the narrative. Deconstruct the dogma. See the system.
We'll see you next time. Stay skeptical.